Alrighty folks, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 8 of our Flight Simulator 2024 career mode. So let's take a second to look how far we've come. We started out flying basic training missions, built Vista Wings from scratch. We crashed our only one Cessna 172, sold that aircraft to fund our license progression, ground our way through specializations, and in the last episode unlocked the path towards airline level operations. It's been a messy one and it's been quite expensive, but today we're stepping into something completely different. Today we're operating a special charter mission, so let's get into it. Okay, so this charter takes us from Bryant Army Heliport to Heber City Airport, also known as Russ McDonald Field, just east of Salt Lake City, and the aircraft, a Qatar Airways A330. Now, I've got a couple of questions. Who in their right mind has the money to charter a Qatar A330 all the way to Alaska, and more importantly to depart it from an army heliport to fly to a tiny field in Utah? But we're not here to question it, and we're here to fly it. So climbing up into the flight deck now, we are welcomed by our flight dispatch and our first officer and the purser. Okay, so seatbelt signs are coming on and the no smoking. We'll get the nav lights on, our wing lights also. And this suddenly feels very real. The A330 is a serious machine, long haul wide body capability, and now we're about to launch it from what is essentially known as a glorified parking lot. And time warping ahead now, passengers are loaded. We've somehow spawned on the taxi ramp with engines running. But take a look at these cutscenes. Doesn't that aircraft look absolutely amazing? And this is all what we've been working for. So we'll go ahead and request our taxi clearance now, and we're going to be departing from runway 18 today. I'm having to rejig the lighting again. Turn that to taxi. Our strobes are already on, we don't need them on just yet. They can come off, as well as the runway turn-offs and the landing lights, because it spawns in. So we'll go ahead and acknowledge ATC. Now, this airfield is absolutely tiny, and how they even brought an A330 into here is beyond me. Releasing the parking brake will spool up these engines now and vacate towards the runway. And the fact we got a full cabin crew on board as well today just goes to show that our clients on board have some deep pockets. But pressing on, coming up to the hold short marker here, we'll go ahead, set the auto brake to max. Cabin will be checked shortly, and we're coming up to the hold short now, so some slight braking needed. And as you can see, we've got some mountains just straight ahead, so that will affect us on our departure out of here. Trying to judge the hold short area here for our marker. Let's have to go out external. Need to get them main wheels in just a bit more. It's a bit deceiving. Come on, a little bit more, a little bit more. There we go. Okay, let's request takeoff clearance. And it looks like we're going to be vacating all the way down. Not a big runway at all. Like I said, this airfield is absolutely tiny. And you can see why it's a heliport. No idea why they've even bought the idea of bringing a 330 into here. And I would very much like to be the pilot who brought this in. Okay. So the cabin is all secured for takeoff. Let's acknowledge that. Okay, so entering runway 18 now, which will be all the way down the bottom and doing a U-turn. So let's inform the passengers. Okay, as Michael gives the takeoff briefing, let's skip on ahead right down to the bottom of the runway and we will see you there. Alrighty, coming up to the end of runway 18 now. We will do a U-turn here with the room that we've got, remembering we are in an Airbus A330. I think just words go to speak on the airports and aircraft that get assigned in these missions are just totally unrealistic. But we will do our best. Probably have a bit of an overhang and a runway incursion happening here. Slowly does it, trying to turn them main wheels on a 2/10 piece at this point. And no doubt about it, there is an antenna right next to the runway, which I'm pretty sure our left-hand wing will strike as we throttle down the runway. And that nose wheel just scraping as we're onto the runway boundary line there. And like I say, we don't have a big runway at all, so we'll be going full toga here and manual departure out of this heliport and full throttle going to toga. There's that antenna right next to the runway. Not great at all, but we'll pretend that is not there as our left hand wing goes through that and strikes it. Almost running out of runway, and we'll rotate out and just barely making it. Okay, into climb mode we go, and the gear is coming up, aiming for 41,500 feet, immediately making a left turn towards our first waypoint, and we're going to have to do some drastic flying to clear this mountain range that we do have ahead with this low cloud as well. As we flick through ATC. There we go, locked into climb mode, using the visual aids just to help us out through here, and autopilot kicking in as it looks like we're just about going to make it over this mountain range here. Very close for comfort, I do have to say. And as the ground proximity warning goes off as well, showing that there's no room for error at almost 4,000 feet. Wow. Okay, leaving that airport behind us and hoping for a better one at our destination, proceeding through now, and at this point we're going up like the space shuttle and heading for our cruising altitude of 41,500 feet in an Airbus A330 on what is essentially just a domestic charter, because obviously this 3-hour hop requires us to enter the stratosphere. But hey, if we've got the performance, I think we'll do it. But let's fast forward and establish in the cruise. As you can see here, altering the autopilot. And having a few issues on our first flight as it's sending us over speed, but there we go, above 10,000 we can fireball. And here we are, 41,500 feet in the air. The cabin crew brief is complete. Our special VIP passengers are comfortable in what is probably the most overpriced, overpowered aircraft they've ever booked for a short haul hop. I have no words, but hey ho, we're getting paid for it on this mission, so we'll plod on with it. And it gives us a bit more experience in the A330, so nothing on towards that. But let's skip on ahead to our descent. Okay, so we are in full fast forward now into our descent. The sun is setting off just to our right hand side and the night time is creeping in. And as you can see, making a nice slow controlled descent into our final destination. And we get advised by ATC to cancel our IFR, and why not go full VFR as we aim for 15,000 and then descend into 11,000, which is what we did. It wasn't great. We made a traffic announcement for our inbound, and that is when you know you are heading into a small airfield, when there is no air traffic control at all. And I'll be completely honest with this one, I had real difficulty finding the airfield in the dead of night. For the quickness of the video, there is a lot after being at work video, but I did not skip the mission. And trying to land a wide-body aircraft into a tiny airfield at what was around about 11:30 on the evening is just not what I needed. So at this point, I just wanted to get the aircraft on the floor. Now, I have to admit, with this being said, I had to pause the game and trace the airport back through the blue flight path line in the pause menu. And the key landmark, lo and behold, it was the highway, which you can see heading off in towards that southerly direction with that little flashing light. Yes, that's our aiming point, that's our landmark, and I'll be honest, that's my only reference point as well. So, as we turn in now, we've got full flaps, the gear is down and locked, 3 greens, our lights are all on, and here we go. As the runway comes into view now, and again, who in the right mind is flying this aircraft into here? As we line up now, keeping the speed under control, bringing this in to centre up with the runway and not mistaking that for the highway either, but lining up now, holding up that centre line.
1,000.
and keeping the runway in, 1,000 above now.
Pull up.
And being told to pull up now by the aircraft as we get 2 whites, 2 reds, and this is not a big runway or airfield at all. Probably not enough to cope with this A330. Probably shouldn't really be flying in here. 300 above now, going over that highway, over a load of residential houses. Probably not what they need at this time either. And there's a factory coming into shot from the runway lights. And look how thin that runway is, and touchdown, we've absolutely slammed it in there. And a bit of a runway incursion there, and that's because I've been experiencing something recently. When I am inputting rudder during the flare and the nose wheel touches the floor, the aircraft does pull sharply to one side, and that's exactly what's happened here. We've ended up with a slight runway incursion. Nothing we could do about it. It's not ideal, but we do recover from it. So we've come to a full stop, almost missing our turn-off point here as well. And it's absolutely tiny. This probably should only be used for light aircraft only, which is, you know, what we've been using predominantly in the series, which is the Cessnas and small prop aircraft. And we've just landed a full heavy Airbus A330 and probably blowing off a load of jet blast to them cars in the highway. But we're going to hold short. I'm not even going to attempt to taxi onto stands because we know where that's going to end. But let's get into the hold short box here and skip ahead onto stands. Perfect. Let's just skip straight to the shutdown. I don't even want to do any more of this one. Skipping on ahead. Let's see how it puts us in. And yeah, we're facing completely the wrong direction, but let's just go straight ahead. Let's shut these engines down. There we go. As the aircraft powers off, I don't even care about the VIPs at this point. Absolutely not a chance.
Until we come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Please make sure you take all your belongings with you when you get off. On behalf of the entire company, we'd like to thank you.
Mission success, apparently. And I'm not surprised with the airfields that they've took us from. Absolutely ridiculous. However, we've absolutely gained a whole load of experience on this. Look at that, just a 2 million alone, and another 2 million for bad weather. That is absolutely ridiculous. If only that were credits, should I say. But let's head back to headquarters. And we've gained just over 500,000 credits on that one. And look at the baseline alone, 5 million credits. Imagine if that was our own aircraft. But we're sat with literally just over 950,000 credits now. And just shy of 1 million, which kind of changes everything really. This means we can fully expand Vista Wings VIP. So I'm going to head into the used market and I'm going to snap up a Cirrus jet. I've had my eye on one for a while now. The King Air's just out of our reach, so is the Cessna. We don't want any of them, but there we are. There's the Cessna citations, and you can see the price varies depending on how much maintenance needs to be done. But I think I'm going to go for around about the 600 mark, because that gives us 300,000 then to do the bit of maintenance that we need and tart it up. But this doesn't have a lot that needs to be done, the flight controls and the landing gear. So 200 for that, not a problem. And then how much is the landing gear? 32,000. Okay, perfect. Let's go next on to that one. So 630,000 credits essentially for this absolute beauty. Let's get the insurance on it of 13,500, and let us place this where the VIP missions are, so we can go straight into a mission on our next flight. And which one pays out the highest here? That's 190, 148,000, 112,000, 120,000, 93,000. Okay. And this is what we're just going to get paid out for just completing a mission in one. So 221,000. We've got to go for that one. That's our highest one there. So let's go to Dunkirk, Calais. Base that there. So that gives us some change in the bank. There we go. Aircraft delivered. We are now proud owner of a Cirrus Vision
jet. You can consider
jet.
hiring additional crew members to operate them. After all, you can only fly one aircraft at a time yourself.
Okay, perfect.
Hiring
And that
crew to
becomes
fly your
a
other
smart
aircraft will
move.
allow your company to bring in income even when you're not in the pilot seat yourself. However, you still need to monitor every aircraft for wear and tear.
So there we are, guys. We hire a pilot to operate our spare aircraft, generating passive income for the business while we focus on bigger operations. So Vista Wing is no longer surviving, we're scaling out. And this episode felt like a turning point for me, from bush flying to tornado missions to launching a Qatar 330 from an army heliport. We've entered a new era. If you're enjoying the journey, make sure to like and subscribe, drop a comment, because from here on out things are going to get bigger, and I will see you in episode 9.